In the first segment, the narrator describes how the video opens on Cat Williams stepping in the frame with an energy that immediately signals he's about to commit to a fully realized character. The audience can tell this isn't just wardrobe, it's a complete transformation into a persona, one built on exaggeration, swagger, and theatrical flair. The narrator emphasizes how the camera lingers on Cat's carefully constructed pimp style, the richly colored suit, the exaggerated tailoring, the accessories chosen with almost cartoonish precision. As the narrator explains, every detail works together to signal that this isn't subtle comedy. This is a deliberate and proud display of over-the-top identity. Viewers are guided through how the visual choices prepare them for Cat's persona-driven humor, the kind that depends on bold self-presentation, attitude, and a sense of larger-than-life charisma. The narration continually reminds the audience that Cat's entire look operates as a comedic setup, a visual punchline that primes them for the sharp, character-based commentary that defines this phase of his act.
As the video moves forward, the narrator's voice highlights a shift. Cat's attention drops toward his own clothing, and this simple gesture becomes the focal point of the moment. The narrator slowly unpacks how Cat's downward glance isn't about insecurity, but about confirming the image he wants to project. By describing his posture, the deliberate calm of the moment, and the way he takes inventory of his appearance, the narrator frames this gesture as something rooted in social performance. The narration stresses that Cat is illustrating an unspoken truth, that people often judge respect based on outward presentation. This isn't extra commentary, it's directly tied to what the video already portrayed. Cat looking at a suit, acknowledging the cultural rules of image, and using that awareness as a comedic pivot. The narrator guides viewers through how Cat uses his own outfit as both a prop and a metaphor, showing that in his world, you don't just request respect, you dress in a way that demands it before you even speak. The entire moment is described as a visual demonstration of identity as armor, the way he leans on appearance to convey authority in a humorous yet honest way.
Next, the narrator turns attention to the oversized belt buckle, a detail so bold that it becomes a punchline before Cat even comments on it. The narration describes how Cat draws the viewer's eye to this massive accessory, presenting it almost ceremonially, the way someone might showcase an emblem of rank. The narrator focuses on the exaggerated scale of the buckle and the intentional absurdity behind wearing something that large, pointing out how the video frames it as a symbol of status within the comedic universe Cat has created. The narration breaks down how the buckle functions visually. It gleams, it commands attention, and it fits perfectly within the gaudy aesthetic he's embracing. Without adding anything outside the video, the narrator explains how this buckle becomes the centerpiece of the entire look, a visual shorthand for power, confidence, and comedic exaggeration. The viewer is guided to understand that Cat isn't just wearing the buckle, he's using it as a prop that amplifies the tone of bravado he's playing into. It represents the peak of his character's flashy identity, turning clothing into a humorous declaration of dominance.
Finally, the narrator ties together the full visual impression Cat gives off, a bold fusion of confidence and flamboyance that radiates from every piece of his ensemble. The narration describes how the camera captures him in a way that lets the audience feel the magnitude of his presence. The saturated colors, the tailored lines, the bright textures, all assembled to create a character who thrives on excess. The narrator doesn't invent anything new, but focuses on what's already in the video. His stance, his expressions, the attitude that pours out of him as naturally as laughter from his crowd. Through the narrator's voice, viewers get a sense that Cat's appearance isn't accidental or superficial. It's the external expression of the persona he's cultivating. Every detail underscores his fundamental confidence, not quiet confidence, but the kind that announces itself before he even speaks. The narrator explains that his flamboyance isn't a distraction. It's a deliberate enhancement to his comedic rhythm, giving him a visual tempo that aligns perfectly with his punchlines, movements, and overall presence.
In point 5, the narrator focuses on how Cat's entire presentation of his outfit naturally becomes a comedic event by itself. The narration describes the way he moves, not adding new actions, but emphasizing how the gestures he already makes in the video turn simple clothing display into something theatrical. The narrator explains how Cat leans slightly, angles his shoulders, or tilts his body just enough to showcase different parts of the outfit, and how each motion triggers laughter because of the intent behind it. The audience can tell he's not just wearing clothes, he's showcasing them like prized possessions. The narrator highlights how Cat treats each detail as though it's worthy of its own spotlight. And this exaggerated seriousness is precisely what makes the moment funny. The comedic weight doesn't come from a joke he tells, but from the confidence with which he presents these flashy items as though they carry deep cultural significance. The narration makes clear that this exaggeration is purposeful, part of Cat's strategy to amplify the humor through performance, turning his wardrobe into a character of its own.
For the 6th point, the narrator draws attention to the way Cat's attire merges seamlessly with the persona he portrays. Instead of treating his clothing as mere fashion, the narration explains that the video shows how each visual choice is integrated into its comedic identity. The narrator describes how viewers can see that the clothes don't just sit on him, they enhance everything about the tone he brings to the stage. When he stands, speaks, or moves, the attire supports a character he's projecting, a figure who thrives on confidence, bravado, and a touch of satire. Without adding extraneous details, the narrator explains that Cat's persona feels complete only because the clothing helps articulate his worldview. The narration elaborates on how Cat seems fully aware of this interplay, using it to elevate his performance by allowing the visuals to set context even before he delivers a line. This portion makes it clear that what the audience is seeing is a deliberate integration of style and identity, a unified character crafted from costume and attitude working hand in hand.
Here, the narrator guides viewers through how the outfit transforms into a functional comedic prop rather than simply something he wears. The narration focuses on how every movement Cat makes with the clothing present in the video demonstrates a sense of playful ownership, as though he's wielding the suit, the buckle, and the accessories as tools to strengthen his performance rhythm. The narrator explains how his gestures, whether pointing toward an accessory, adjusting a piece of fabric, or shifting his posture, turn the wardrobe into active components of his humor. This explanation emphasizes how the outfit enhances his identity. It amplifies his boldness, heightens his expressions, and even shapes the comedic timing by giving the audience something visually striking to react to. The narrator makes clear that the humor comes not from the clothes themselves, but from the intentional way Cat uses them to punctuate his presence, making laughter erupt through their exaggerated elegance and the confidence they project.
In the 8th point, the narrator describes how the clothing serves as an immediate extension of the comedic tone Cat sets. Instead of needing verbal cues to establish mood, the audience sees what kind of humor they're in for simply by looking at him. The narration explains that his attire communicates intensity, flamboyance, and satire, all elements deeply tied to the tone he aims to strike. Without inventing anything outside the video, the narrator talks about how the brightness of the ensemble mirrors the boldness of his delivery, how the sharp tailoring reflects the sharpness of his commentary, and how the exaggerated details match the exaggerated comedic persona he embodies. The outfit essentially sets the stage for the audience's expectations, signaling that the upcoming humor will be loud, expressive, and unapologetically dramatic.
The narrator helps viewers understand that the outfit doesn't just accompany the comedy, it defines its visual style. For point 9, the narrator explains how the specific pimp-style aesthetic reinforces a level of confidence that radiates through Cat's body language. The narration walks viewers through how the bold fashion choices, all clearly visible in the video, underscore themes of power, pride, and style. The narrator details how the outfit gives Cat an aura of self-assuredness, one that appears not forced but completely natural within the context of the character he embodies. Viewers can sense through the narration that the clothing elevates the swagger he carries on stage, making each of his movements feel deliberate and meaningful. The narrator describes how the audience reads this confidence in visual cues: the gleam of the accessories, the sharp lines of the suit, the effortless way he stands comfortable in a statement look. All of these elements, as the narration makes clear, reinforce a persona rooted in dominance and flair, enhancing the impact of every comedic beat.
In the 10th section, the narrator highlights how the clothing draws viewers further into Cat's character, serving as an immediate invitation into his world. The narration explains that the attire provides viewers with an entry point, helping them understand the rules of his comedic universe simply by looking at him. The narrator describes how the boldness of the outfit helps audiences intuitively grasp the exaggeration and satire driving his performance. As Cat moves, the narrator emphasizes how the clothing acts as a visual anchor, consistently reminding viewers of who he is portraying and what kind of comedic energy he embodies. There is no need to imagine new actions. The narrator simply interprets what's seen, his stance, his expressions, and the way the flamboyant attire frames him. All of this draws viewers deeper into the persona, allowing them to fully appreciate the humor rooted in his character's attitude and style.